Hi everyone, it's Agnieszka from 5 Minute Language. Welcome to my channel. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already and give this video a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. So today's video is going to be a review of an app I've been trying out for the last couple of weeks. It's called Speakly and I want to share with you my experiences of using the app and how it works and how I've been using it to learn Italian. If you like the sound of Speakly, you can get 40% off their premium version. So make sure you check out the description box below. You've got the discount codes there and I explain how you can get the 40% off. So let's get started. So one thing that I really like about Speakly is how it focuses on essential vocabulary and essential phrases. And it seems to be the core of the app. It's kind of structured around the things that you will definitely need in everyday conversations in the language you're learning. So what I found with other apps and other language learning materials is often they're structured around topics and themes. So you're presented with a topic and you have to learn all about that topic or a list of vocabulary, and you have to memorize all the different words on that list, regardless of how frequently you're likely to use them in real life conversations. So sometimes, when you've used other language learning apps, you will notice that the examples that are used to teach you the language are not really examples that are relevant to everyday conversations in a foreign language. So you will be learning vocabulary to do with animals and clothes and things that you're really unlikely to say in the real world. So what I like about Speakly is that it is structured around frequency and relevance. So you are definitely learning the things that you definitely need in everyday conversation. I've just opened the app. It asks me which language I want to learn. I've got a choice of 8 different languages: English, Finnish, German, Spanish, Estonian, French, Italian, Russian. So all the popular languages that people want to learn. Plus there is also Finnish and Estonian, which I don't see very frequently in language learning apps. There may be less less popular languages to learn, but it's great that they're available. Hi guys, so I'm going to be doing a little bit of Italian today. It's quite a busy day. It's a Saturday today, but I've got some other plans as well. But I thought I would pick up Speakly and try it out and see what I can learn today. So I'm going to be learning Italian. I have never actually learned Italian before. I've been to Italy many times, so I'm quite embarrassed to admit that I've never actually I've never actually tried to learn the language properly. And I'm hoping that when it is completely safe and easy to travel again, I really want to go to Italy again. So that's what I'm going to be doing. So let's have a look at the app, and I'm going to give you a little talk through of what I'm doing today. You can see it tells you 41% of all everyday situations is covered by the first level of beginner, and the second level of beginner is covered by 50-something%. So this is already one of my favorite features of Speakly, actually. I can already tell that I like the app by just looking at the approach that it takes to serving up vocabulary and phrases. When I think back to a few years ago when I first started using language learning apps to learn other languages, they obviously weren't as advanced, but I often encountered things like sentences which are not taken from the real world, sentences which don't actually make any sense and that you would never use at all. So I just remember one example that I always give people is when you're learning, how to structure a sentence. Some apps can give you random sentences like the elephant is drinking milk, for example. That's one example I always give people, which, how often are you actually likely to say that? The elephant is drinking milk. Of course, it teaches you the how to structure the language. It teaches you the principles that govern the different tenses in the language, but it's not relevant. It's not something that you can implement into your conversation straight away. So what I like about Speakly, it shows you that, if you learn this particular number of words or phrases or general kind of, sentences, you will be able to have a lot of conversations already, and it shows you the proportion of real life conversations that you will have covered by doing that learning. So that's really good. I'm a big fan of that, and I definitely like the approach. When I was reading about the app, I found out that the founders actually did a lot of research into into that. When I talk to people about vocabulary acquisition or language learning in general, I often stress the importance of frequency lists. And a frequency list is a list of vocabulary based on its relevance and usefulness and importance in the language. So if you learn based on that, then obviously you will learn the most important words first and the ones that you will be using the most. And then you will keep moving down to the kind of more niche vocabulary that you are going to use less frequently. But it sounds like Speakly doesn't just do frequency lists, they actually base all of their teaching around that same concept. So here's an example of an activity. It asks you to translate the phrase "my home." So we've got 4 different options. I've chosen "la mia casa è qui" or "qui." I can't remember how to pronounce it. It was correct. The second one is "do you speak?" So we need to choose which pronoun and which verb form is correct. I don't speak, so negation. You can practice all sorts of things, questions, negative sentences, statements, and so on. And then you can turn them around and look at the translation, the full translation of the phrase. You can also tap on the individual words to see the translations or any kind of explanations of grammar points or language points that you need to. Then you've got a little listening activity where you listen to something and you need to type it out. You can play it again if you need to. Oh, there we go, I got it right. That was an easy one. And there's the translation. And now it's asking me to, listening. Yeah, speaking is a premium feature. But you can reveal it as well if you're not sure what it is. There we go. Grazie mille. Thank you very much. And then it asks you whether it was easy or difficult. Then we've got a new phrase, arrivederci, which means goodbye. You can listen to it again. So it's nice how it uses flashcards that include the kind of core phrase that you're learning. So you're focusing just on that phrase, but you can also turn it around and you can see the full translation of the phrase, which is also great. I like flashcards. I like multiple choice questions. I think the thing about the great benefit of multiple choice questions is that you can work out the correct answer by eliminating the other answers which are incorrect, which is a great kind of activity for the brain. I think it's not an unusual idea, it's not an uncommon concept in language learning apps. I think probably most of them have that feature, but it's really great to see that it's part of Speakly as well. Type the sentence you're going to hear, then I'm doing a listening activity and I'm typing out what I heard. I can play it again. I can play a slow version of it. If I don't hear it properly, I actually made a mistake there with the spelling of interesting. I can turn it around to see the translation as well. The listening activity, I actually found that really difficult to do, I think, because I hadn't seen the phrase many times before. It's actually really challenging when you don't know the language to sort of type something out when you hear it. I think it's much easier to do those listening exercises where you hear something and then you've got a multiple choice kind of question where you select the correct answer. It's much easier to do it that way than recreate the writing, the spelling by yourself. I think that's pretty much impossible the first time you do it. So I did make a lot of mistakes. It did ask me at the end whether I found the activity difficult or easy, which is a great thing. If you know about app development or digital product development, you will know that a good product is one that's frequently tested, that collects feedback from users and adapts the product. And it does look like that's what they're doing by asking you how you found the level of difficulty of the activity. I personally found it really difficult, but let me know if you've tried Speakly. Let me know in the comments how you found this type of listening activity in particular. Oh, I really like how you can slow down the speech, which is not something that I see a lot in language learning products. Okay, let's listen to the slow version of it now. I haven't actually got the audio here, but that's what I was doing. And I still didn't get it right. Actually, when people talk about listening tips for improving your listening, they just say, do lots of listening and you can do this and that. And I talk about it in my own YouTube videos as well. So I do feel guilty, that I recommend it, even though sometimes it's really difficult to do that if you don't have the ability to slow down the speech. So this is a great feature of Speakly. You can press that little button that I've just shown you to slow it down so that you can really hear all the different sounds and the different components that make up the word and the phrase. I know that you can, for some languages, you can find recordings of slow speech online. Obviously, nobody really speaks like that. So I know that some people are opponents of this method. They say, don't listen to slow speech because that's not how people speak, and you will learn to understand that. But then when you're put in a real life situation, you will not have an idea how to communicate, how to understand people, and how to communicate. So, but I think it's helpful for a beginner like myself. I find it useful. And obviously, I will move on to other things. And there are other things in the app with real speech. And I'm going to move on to that probably in a couple of days when I pick up the app again. Okay, I'm going to have another go. I got it wrong so many times because it's quite a difficult word, but once you get it right, hopefully you can remember it next time. There we go. That's the correct answer. And the translation is that's very interesting. Then we've got I speak, io parlo. That was quite easy. Okay, guys, a couple of days later, I picked up the app again. Another busy day, but 5-minute language is all about productivity and how to fit language learning around your routine. So I'm going to try and have a go at it again, and then a little bit of Italian, and let you know how it goes. So it asks me to translate the phrase "my home." This was quite tricky actually because it's different to Spanish and French. You still need the article as well, la, as well as the possessive pronoun mia, which is quite tricky. Do you speak? So how do you form questions in Italian? Tu parli, you don't have to invert, that's interesting as well. And then it's asking me to say the negative one. Oh, I got that wrong. And here's the translation. I don't speak English. Io parlo italiano, that's the new phrase, the translation. You can listen to it again. You can review it. You can tap on the individual words to see their different explanations. Oh, now I'm getting ready for some listening activities. I'm going to listen and type what I heard. That's quite tricky. I can play it again if I don't get it right, but I did get it right. I'm at home. So I really like this kind of real life conversations, real life situations activity. Like I said to you before, Speakly is based all around the usefulness and the kind of essential nature of certain phrases and certain pieces of language, which is really good. And that's why it focuses a lot on real life situations. So there's lots of listening material. Like I said to you before, there is some slow speech that you can listen to, but there's also real life situations where you listen to recordings, you've got questions to answer, and there's plenty of situations to choose from at each of the different levels that the app offers. Another thing which I haven't mentioned to you before, but that's really important to me in an app, in any app that I'm using to learn anything, is the ability to set goals. And that's one thing when you install Speakly, it asks you how many words you want to focus on per day. Because obviously, everybody will have a very different routine, very different responsibilities. And, some people can really devote a full day to learning 100 new words. I know that sounds like a lot, but actually, some people might be able to do that. I personally can't do that. I've got quite a busy lifestyle at the moment. But I can commit myself to 5 new words or 10 new words. Probably every other day, not every day. Speakly does send you notifications so you can when it's time to learn again. but you can definitely, start small, set yourself a tiny little goal, and then if you want, you can always edit it, and you can aim for something more challenging. Using Speakly has been a really interesting experience, and I'm committed to becoming fluent in Italian at some point in the future. I've really enjoyed using the app. Like I said to you before, the kind of the frequency, the focus on real life language, the essential language that you need is a really great thing. The activities are really well structured and interesting and engaging. They offer some relatable language that you will definitely need in real life situations. Lots of listening based around conversations that you will be having with people, in a restaurant, in a cafe, when meeting friends, when meeting new people. So that's all great. And the ability to set goals as well. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments below if you have tried Speakly, and make sure you check out the discount codes as well to get 40% off Speakly Premium.